Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Abby with Fitness is Medicine, and today I'm going to show you another great workout you can do in your home. I'm going to use a Fitball for almost all of the exercises. There's one maybe that we're not going to use it. So grab a Fitball if you've got one. If you don't, I'll show you and tell you how you can do this workout without a Fitball. That's fine, you don't need one. But it's fun to use, mix it up a little, and engage some extra muscles as we're doing the main exercise. So go ahead and make sure you're warmed up and grab a Fitball, a band or a tube, and a set of dumbbells. If you've got a couple sets, you can grab a little heavier set and then a little lighter set, but you can do this with one kind of medium set, depending on your strength level, maybe a 5-pound or an 8-pound. But we'll get started. We're going to start over here with a row with my bands. So when you do a row, you want to pull from right about chest height. So I've got this set up so that I'm just going to be pulling straight back. If you don't have a band, you can either sit in a chair or you can stand. That's okay. So take a breath, pull straight back. Think about driving your elbows towards the wall behind you. Squeezing those shoulder blades like you're squeezing a pencil in between those shoulder blades. Breathe each time, never hold your breath. If you're not using a ball, just make sure you keep your knees bent and your hips bent just a little bit in a good athletic position to protect your back. If you're sitting in a chair, make sure you have some good posture and you're just sitting up on the edge of the chair so that you can still pull back and pull those elbows back without hitting that chair. All right, one more, and go slowly both directions. Okay. Next, we're going to do some ball squats with a bicep curl. So grab one of your sets of dumbbells, and first get your ball set up for some ball squats. So just find a little wall. I don't have very much wall space right here, but you don't really need a lot of wall space. Just a little bit. You want to bring your feet out away from you just a little bit so that when you sit down, your knees stay over your ankles. So you want to maybe practice that a couple times if you haven't done ball squats before. What I like about ball squats is it helps you stay in a really good protective position for your knees and your hips and your back. It actually feels really good on your back to go up and down on this ball. Make sure you sit your hips back like you're sitting in a chair. So go ahead and grab those dumbbells. You want to go down and then curl up as you come up. So your arms go down when your hips go down. You want to sit back just like you're going to sit in a chair. If you see that your knees are going over your toes, bring your feet out a little bit more and also make sure that you're sitting back. Maintain that good posture throughout. I'm going to do 3 more of these. If you have a lighter set of dumbbells and you don't feel like this is very challenging, you can do a few more and also go a little more slowly. Make that muscle work all the way through that range of motion. Okay, good. And you can just let that ball fall behind you. Set your weights down carefully. And then this is the one exercise we're going to do without the ball. I'm going to lower down to the floor and we're going to do a reverse plank. So, on your back, like this, or on the floor like this, we're going to put your hands directly beneath your shoulders and then come up like this. So this is a really big hamstring and triceps. You're going to feel it here in your triceps and back here in your hamstrings. If this is too much to try to hold this, bend your knees. The goal is to try to press your hips towards the ceiling. If you can though, try this for a little bit. You can always relax a little bit and come into this. Your arms are probably going to be feeling this quite a bit. If this is too much on the floor, you can try it on the bench, or your coffee table or a chair. Just put your hands, make sure if you're doing it on a chair, the chair is pushed up against the wall. I'll demonstrate over here. I gotta pull up my camera. But to make this just a little bit easier, you can do this on an elevated surface, like a lot of these. So you go like this, and then you can hold it just like this. So it's the same position, it's just not as quite as intense. So we're shortening that lever a little bit. Same position, all the same muscles are working, it's just a little bit less intense. Okay, so if you have been able to hold that this whole time, do it for about 30 seconds. If you feel you need a little more time, do 45 seconds. Make it work for you. Okay, next we're gonna grab that ball again. Grab a little bit lighter set of dumbbells if you have them here. And we're gonna do some windmills. So I'm gonna have you walk out into a bridge. So with your shoulders on the ball here. And when you pick up your dumbbells, protect your back, make sure you're doing it in a good form. We're gonna walk out into a bridge. So make sure your hips are pressing towards the ceiling, your feet are directly below your knees, and your shoulders and head are resting pretty comfortably on the ball. So you want a straight line from your knees to your shoulders. Press those weights straight up. We're gonna windmill our arms. Again, use a little bit lighter weight for this because this can be hard on your shoulders if you have any shoulder pain. If this does not feel good on your shoulders, go ahead and just do a chest press here. That should feel just fine. And we'll hold that same bridge. But if you're able to, go ahead and do these windmills. This is a great way to work your lats and your shoulders in a different plane of motion. And the benefit is you're also getting your glutes and your hamstrings in a good isometric contraction as you hold this bridge. So nice and slowly, we're just scissoring those arms. The other thing you can do is if you don't have a light enough set of dumbbells for this, you can just do this range of motion nice and slowly without weights. We're gonna do 10 on each side. I think that this one right here is 10. You should really be feeling this in your glutes and your hamstrings. Okay, now when you're done, bring them to your chest and slowly walk back up to sitting. Okay, great. Now, set those weights down and we're going to pick up the ball and do Fitball tip overs. So, this is a challenging balance exercise that you should do next to like a counter or a chair or something like that. So pick up the ball overhead and you want to tip over, kind of like a pendulum. So you're going to balance on one foot and tip that ball towards the ground. If you can tip it all the way down to the ground and then come back up. But this is really challenging. So in my gym, I often have people do it next to my mat, which I have a raised, like low mat. But you can do it next to a bench like this, so that you have like something to aim for. So you're leaning down and you've got that. You could do it over your, a table or a lower counter or even your sofa. A sofa would be a good place to kind of aim for, because then if you do lose your balance, you kind of, you've got some place to set it down and help with your balance a little bit if you do start to lose your balance. So try to keep your leg in line with your body here. So this whole side of me is staying in a straight line. I'm just tipping on this leg. So you may notice your hamstrings and your glutes are firing a lot here too, just like they did in that last exercise. So we're really working on that posterior chain today. So the goal is to do this 10 times, nice and slowly. Also, if that is really challenging and you just can't get it, start here and just tip a little. You can just tip in a smaller range of motion to begin with until you start to really get this. Okay, now we're going to switch feet. You may also notice that your arms are getting really tired with the ball. I'm going to switch feet and show you if you're having a lot of trouble with that ball, or if you don't have a ball at home, you can grab, you know, like a playground ball. You can do the same thing with a playground ball. So it's the same motion. Really all the ball does in this instance is it kind of gives you a focus and something to hang on to. If you don't have any type of balls around at all, you can do this absolutely with nothing else. Just put your arms up and we'll tip forward just like that. The bigger ball absolutely adds an element of difficulty. So you have it's a little bit heavier and you have sort of a counterweight pulling you. And it is an arm exercise. Your arms are having to work hard to hold that ball. And they're over your head this entire time. So they will get tired. Your arms are going to get tired in this one. But that's okay. We're working out. We want to get stronger, right? Okay, so the goal is to do this 10 times. Remember, if that is just too much, bring it down here. Do little tips. But the same thing is happening. I have a straight line from my body and the leg that's tipping back. So the only joint that's moving here is my hip in the standing leg. All right, after you've done those 10 times, we're gonna sit back down on the ball and do some ab leans for the last exercise. So let me bring this down just a little bit. I think my voice is a little creaky this morning. It's been really smoky from the fires here in Colorado. So I'm a little bit, my eyes have been watering and my voice is a little creaky. So I apologize if I'm sounding a little crazy this morning. Okay, so in order to do ab crunches or ab leans or abdominals on the ball, I usually like to sit forward on the ball like this. My feet are forward. I'm going to move back a little so you can see. I usually kind of have just my heels kind of dug in to the ground. And then cross your arms here. You can actually, we'll start with our hands here. Lean back and then come back up straight. Actually, don't come all the way straight. You kind of want to have just a little bit of angle here at the top because when you come all the way straight, you're actually relaxing those abs. Tubby came to help me. Hi, Tubby. So start with your hands here. Hi, hi, hi. Come over here. Good boy. So we're going to lean back and come up. So we're kind of rocking on that ball. And then if that feels okay, put your hands here. And if you've done these before and you know where to put your hands to make this a good challenge for you, go ahead and just do that. You don't have to go through all these modifications. Make sure you're breathing. That can be one of the biggest challenges with doing abdominal or core exercises is breathing because you're trying to coordinate that diaphragm and you're trying to coordinate your breathing. Keep going. And then also if you feel like you need even more than this, you can put your hands up here and that just lengthens that lever. I'm not pulling on my head here. My hands are just resting on my head. And I'm still coming up almost to the top, but I'm not coming all the way up because that releases those abdominal muscles. It releases them and we want to keep tension on them to make them stronger, okay? So the goal is to do 10. If 10 doesn't feel like a very big challenge, go ahead and do 15. You can always do 20. By the time I've talked all the way through these, you've definitely had time to do at least 20. Okay, go ahead and do those through one more time, at least. Ideally, go through them 2 more times. You can just rewind to the beginning, or you can just write them down as I do them, go through them again. The benefit of doing them 2 to 3 more times is usually the first time you're trying to figure it out and your muscles are, just getting into it. The second time should feel a little bit easier. The third time, you're getting to that point where you're fatiguing the muscles, so you're making it stronger. So make sure you go through at least 2 or 3 times and stretch when you're finished. All right, everybody, take care, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.